To Catch a Predator, that TV show. Let's go through what actually happened on that show. What they would do is they would entice and solicit, lure men under the pretense of someone who is of an insane age to a facility. A reporter who was not yet fired, who had not yet caused someone to unalive themselves, who had not yet been arrested, a reporter went out there and confronted them. And it was hilarious. It was hilarious, that show. I watched it when I was a literal child. Lo and behold, many years later, the grifter reporter who had caused someone to unalive themselves, who had been arrested for check fraud, as I understand, who had supposedly gotten with someone who was his subordinate or someone who was adjacent, someone who was lower ranking than him, I guess. You'd have to do the research yourself. Someone who had an affair, allegedly. That reporter, whose career was in utter shambles, was getting like 300 views a video or so on his dead channel, saw the name Onision and was like, oh, I can reboot my career. And he did. And he became relevant again. He thought to himself, you know what I should do? The last dude who I showed up randomly to, allegedly, he unalived himself. So you know what I, the reporter, should do again after the company I'm associated with allegedly lost the lawsuit via settlement, which was allegedly a $100 million lawsuit. After he lost that suit, not learning his lesson whatsoever, shows up, allegedly stalks my spouse and my small child home from school, trespasses on my property, so crosses state lines to commit a crime against me. He thought to himself, you know, I should go knock on that door and raise my voice so everyone inside can hear them, including this small child that's in there. I call the police on him. The police show up and they tell him to leave. He does leave. I take him to court, anti-harassment protection order. I take him to court again, anti-harassment protection order. The second time I take him to court, he says on the documents that he has moved on. Get that through your heads. I know you guys are really thick-skulled, and I know you have an incredible time trying to even remotely start to acknowledge the world that's around you, the truth, reality. But the way To Catch a Predator went, pervert shows up, pervert gets arrested. That's it. The way it happened with me, dude who caused someone to unalive themselves shows up to my house. So the exact opposite. Police show up and tell that trespassing lawbreaker to leave. And then years later, he says, I've moved on. What did police do? The only time they talked to me in relation to that entire incident was telling me to get an anti-harassment protection order against him. And then when I call the cops on this criminal, you guys make fun of the victim calling the cops on him. You could not be more dumb.